Tip number 235 from the book 501 Contractor Tips Using Generators. There's a couple things I'd like to point out. If you are using your generator, then you are going to be putting wear and tear on this generator. So you're going to need to make sure that you're compensated for it somehow. If it was me, I would rent a generator, or I mean, if you're doing a lot of projects where you think you could pay for it and you buy one, then you rent it to the property owner. You do something like that. You've got to get your money back. Don't just get a generator, tell the homeowner, I've got a generator, I'll provide the electricity. That's not going to be the wisest thing to do, especially when other contractors come on the job and say, hey, can we plug in? No, go get your own generator. Now you've got all sorts of problems starting. Another thing I'd like to suggest is that some generators aren't strong enough to power some power tools. The skill saw I used to have, the circular saw, you used to plug it into a smaller generator and it would bog the generator down and the saw would barely rotate. When you're doing a lot of cutting, you can't have this. So you're gonna, if you are gonna get a generator, make sure that you get one that is going to be sufficient for the needs of everybody working on the project at the peak periods. You know, if you're gonna have 10 contractors out on the job and you have a little 200 horse generator, you're probably not gonna be keeping everybody happy. So just keep that in mind. I wanted to throw that out there because the generator is another option for electricity in areas where you aren't going to have any electricity. So if you do need to get one, try to get the building owner, property owner, to provide it. That way, if anything breaks, you know, you're not responsible. And that is the key here to a lot of things. If you are working on your property, it's different, but when you're working on someone else's property and you decide to take on all of the responsibility and something happens, then you could find yourself in a world of hurt. You're not going to be making any money. You could be headed for a lawsuit. You need to somehow put the responsibility on somebody else. If you have a generator, you rent it from a rental yard and it breaks and then they tell you you need to fix it, you're responsible. It says it right here in their contract, not in your contract. Then you could be paying for these repairs or buying them a new generator, and that's not what you need. So when it comes to power, utilities, try to put that in the property owner's lap. Try to avoid that at all costs for a couple of reasons. One, you don't know how long you're going to be there most of the time, and two, it's the most important, is what happens if this stuff breaks? You know, who's going to be responsible for it? You know, what happens if someone steals it, if it's stolen? So just something to think about.